हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू द चैनल एंड अ वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू। सो आज का एनालिसिस स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं फॉर 27th ऑफ सितंबर। सो फर्स्ट टॉपिक इज द जुडिशरी इज लूजिंग टैलेंट एज गवर्नमेंट सिट्स ऑन द नेम्स। सो हेरिन जो मेन टॉपिक है दैट इज कोलिजन सिस्टम एंड we can say कि collegium system versus what the government wants, how it needs to be. So collegium system की जब हम बात करते हैं तो वहां पे again जो collegium है it recommends certain names to the government and final approval जो final sanction आता है government की तरफ से आते हैं। तो herein that is what we are seeing कि government delay कर रहा है in approving that. So 70 high court collegium recommendations जो दी गई हैं they are pending for over 10 months, and apart from this center it continues to segregate the names despite the collegium forbidding this practice. तो सेंटर अगेन जब नेम्स रिकमेंड किए जाते हैं तो उसमें भी सेंटर अपने तरीके से नेम्स जो भी रिकमेंडेशंस है उनको सेग्रीगेट करके कुछ को इट गिव्स द go ahead and kuch ko again it delays. So this is one thing that is visible, and again it is not good for when we talk about the functioning of judiciary or even the justice delivery system. So herein when we talk about collegium system, so before we proceed further, we मतलब कुछ टाइम पहले this topic was in news, and then the main idea that was being discussed was कि या तो आप collegium system में कुछ reforms कीजिए so that even government का कोई representative appoint किया जाए so that even we have government say in that. बट उसके अलावा उससे रिलेटेड जो कंसर्न था कि अगर ऐसा किया जाएगा तो इट वुड समहाउ लीड टू इवन पॉलिटिकल इंटरफेरेंस इन द जुडिशियल अपॉइंटमेंट्स. सो दिस वाज द कंसर्न रिलेटेड टू दैट प्रपोजल, एंड 2015 में वी सॉ एनजेएसी को स्ट्राइक डाउन कर दिया गया था बाय द सुप्रीम कोर्ट इटसेल्फ. सो उसमें जो था अगेन दैट वाज कि गवर्नमेंट के भी कुछ रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स रहेंगे एनजेएसी में, नेशनल जुडिशियल अपॉइंटमेंट्स कमीशन में, जो अगेन जुडिशियल अपॉइंटमेंट्स करेगा. So herein fewer judges, rising cases. So as I just said कि this would be compromising with the justice delivery system also, and year after year we are seeing कि जो vacancy of judges हैं they are going unfilled, वहाँ vacancies increase हो रही है. High courts में sanction strength of judges जो है 1114 है, and Supreme Court में जो sanction strength that is 34, working strength 32 है. तो Supreme Court में there are 2 vacancies. High courts में अगर हम बात करें there are 340 vacancies right now. तो हाई कोर्ट्स में पेंडेंसी ऑफ द केसेस भी है, हाई कोर्ट्स में और लोअर जुडिशरी में सबसे ज्यादा केसेस पेंडिंग है. तो वी नीड टू एड्रेस दिस इज वन वे कि कैसे हम इस पेंडेंसी को रिड्यूस और हाउ वी कैन डील विद दिस. So in Imphal, we are seeing कि schools have been shut down and again internet has been restricted. तो again questions यहाँ पे ये raise किए जाते कि जैसे हमने मणिपुर में ethnic violence देखी तो उस टाइम पे भी internet shutdown announce कर दिया गया था. तो internet shutdown ठीक है when the situation becomes extreme and it becomes important in order to restore the law and order conditions. So उस टाइम पे going ahead with internet shutdown for a certain time period is okay, but therein also we need to look into other dimensions also क्योंकि internet shutdown from the perspective of maintaining security of the citizens is important at certain point of time, but it also impacts the economic activity of the region as well. So right now the update from Manipur is that phase manner में जो बैन था उसको लिफ्ट किया गया है, बट इम्फाल में वी आर सीइंग कि इंटरनेट restricted, schools have been shut over the protests. So this is also somewhere related to Manipur only. So students, they shout slogans during the protest against the killing of 2 missing students by unknown miscreants. So this is the reason why people are protesting, and the students, they belong to the Meeti community, which is again majority in the Manipur state. Now, success of Project Cheetah की अगर हम बात करें, so herein this headline reads कि cheetahs may be flown in from new countries. So I don't think so this is going to be a sustainable solution for reviving cheetah population in India. अगर जितने numbers हमने अभी import translocate किए थे India में from the South African countries, South Africa की बात करो, नामीबिया से हमने translocate किए थे. So अगर वहां पे हमें प्रॉब्लम्स फेस करने को देखी हैं, हमने कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स के साथ डील किया है, जो नंबर्स हैं, या तो आप बोल सकते हो कि चीतास दे हैव नॉट बीन एबल टू एक्लिमेटाइज विद द क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशंस, या और क्या फैक्टर्स है जो जिसकी वजह से वी हैव सीन we have lost few cheetahs. So instead of going ahead with more cheetahs, translocating more cheetahs into India, we need to first understand and then address की problems क्या हैं, क्या possible solutions हो सकते हैं. Again, major factors were vulnerabilities to the infections due to their tendency to form winter coats during the summer and the monsoon months. So this could be one of the possible reasons why we lost few cheetahs. So the Dada Saib Phalke award goes to actor Waida Rahman. And apart from this, we need to know about contributions of Dada Saib Phalke. That's important. So Punjab government, it is given the commitment कि वो 50% of reduction का target set किया उन्होंने अपने लिए in the stubble burning cases for this year. Because when we talk about the contribution to greenhouse gases and worsening of air quality, specifically Delhi NCR region में, जो major contribution है because of stubble burning, that is coming from the state of Punjab. So 50% reduction in the stubble burning cases, this is the target. And what is important for us is कि what is the plan of action in order to achieve this target. And once again the year passes by, कितना target हम achieve कर पाएंगे, that is going to make the difference. So air quality panel CAQM, it announces कि Punjab's plan on a day, Delhi's LG raised this issue at the Northern Zonal Council meeting and urged the states to work in tandem ahead of the paddy season. इसके अलावा what are the possible solutions जब हम stubble burning reduction की बात करते हैं, तो therein we can again talk about certain technologies. In machines were introduced, happy seeder machines were introduced, but वहाँ पे जो main problem आई, that was again the affordability. Farmers again already they are going through financial distress, so how they can afford to buy new machines specifically for, you know, dealing with the stubble burning. So again, जो stubble है, how we can use it as a byproduct in other industries, basically green fuel produce करने के लिए कहाँ पे हम उसको use कर सकते हैं. तो these can be some of the innovative ideas where stubble can be utilized and reused. So crop residue management के लिए what machines herein again government उन machines को provide कर सकती है, या government again can provide subsidies for the farmers who are going in for buying of these machines. So in this picture, you can see the balsams. They are in full bloom and they add to the visual treat in Munnar. So it's in Kerala. So presenting a visual feast to the tourist balsams. They are in full bloom in Munnar and they're called by these two names locally. And it's a kind of a small and pink flower. These are major attractions along the Devi Kulam stretch of the Kochi Dhanushkodi National Highway. So these are known as touch me not because of the bursting of the mature seeds and seed distributions. So according to botanists, they say कि large scale flowering of these balsams, it indicates कि microclimate still active in Munnar Hill Station. So in a way, the blooming of these flowers indicates the positive health of the environment. That's what we can take away from here. And और कहाँ पे we get these flowers, we can find out about that. So herein we see कि अन्नामुडाई जो हाईएस्ट माउंटेन है वेस्टर्न घाट्स में एंड इट इज सराउंडिंग हाई रेंजेस. दीज आर नोन फॉर द डाइवर्सिटी ऑफ द wild balsams. So new species of balsams, they are also being discovered from different areas and these are endemic to the high ranges. मतलब सिर्फ high ranges में ही आपको ये flowers मिलेंगे और कहीं आपको नहीं मिलेंगे. So 30 species of balsams are there in the Periyar Tiger Reserve also. So normal life cycle जो है that is from June to December and this plant mainly grows inside the pockets of forest areas. So ये एक indicator species है of climate change and if climate change occurs in any area, so it will reflect in the plant population. So that's how they become significant. Coming to the editorial page, so see what are the important topics here. So recently a report was announced on the global digital IDs, that is Aadhaar, and that brings its limitations and risks into focus. So although we discussed this in detail, so herein again data privacy एक major concern है, centralization of these digital IDs, that is another concern. And apart from this, जब हम बात करेंगे benefits की from Aadhaar, so again the direct benefit transfer में जो Aadhaar से हमें benefit देखने को मिल रहा है, जिस scale पे benefit हुआ है, that is one achievement. Apart from this, Aadhaar की जब हम बात करते हैं तो financial inclusion में भी Aadhaar is massively helped. So दोनों चीजें एक साथ हैं. जब हम बात करते हैं रिस्क की, तो इवन डिजिटल डेटा प्रोटेक्शन बिल हैज बीन अनाउंस्ड, सो दैट इज आल्सो गोइंग टू टेक केयर ऑफ सर्टेन concerns and risks which is associated with digital data. And when it comes to even disbursement of the wages, specifically MG Narega scheme की अगर हम बात करें तो therein also it has helped. So एक और concern है inclusion and exclusion error जो associated होता है, so that needs to be taken into account so that we can go ahead with much more effective delivery of these services guaranteed under different schemes and programs of the government. So climate change तो हो ही रहा है, ये एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है हमारे लिए, बट साथ के साथ इसकी वजह से वी आर ऑल्सो सीइंग न्यू डिजीज scenarios. Specifically इसके साथ अगर हम बात करेंगे non communicable diseases spread, so that is also another challenge. So climate change and more infections at the same time. So यहाँ पे again we need to think about कि how we can make our healthcare system much more resilient, robust and more, we can say, reactive, kitni jaldi the health system responds to different challenges. So habitat loss, it forces the disease carrying animals to encroach upon the human territory. Again, risk of zoonotic diseases bhi hum baat kar sakte hain, that is also increasing. And of late again Nipah virus, we are seeing Kerala mein the cases have re-emerged. So analysis of 2022 published in Nature ki climate change warns ki humans, they now face a broader spectrum of infectious agents. And apart from this, over half of all known infectious diseases जो हैं, they are threatening the humans, they are worsening with changing climate patterns. So when we talk about One Health, so that concept also becomes important for us, and protecting the ecosystems, fostering collaboration, embracing the One Health paradigm would be the best defense. So even primary healthcare sector or strengthen karna is very important, because again, we can say that is the first level of interaction between citizens and the healthcare services. So that needs to be strengthened. Surveillance and reporting is going to help us. So change, कैसे diseases change हो रहे हैं, कौन से diseases के numbers increase हो रहे हैं, कौन से area में कौन से particular diseases ज़्यादा देखने को मिलते हैं. तो again, surveillance and research over here can help us, and accordingly the health system needs to follow these things. So integrated disease surveillance program roll out किया गया था कुछ states में 2007 में. So they reported again 553 outbreaks 2008 में, and it last reported 1714 in 2017. So इसको phase out कर दिया गया in favor of a new and web enabled near real time electronic information system, जिसको we call it integrated health information platform. So we are working in this direction also. जो हमारा current design of surveillance, it is not adequate for the emerging disease scenario. So both those things, they need to be in consonance, they need to work in synergized manner, so that दोनों का again we can take the leverage of जो भी हमारे पास again electronic technologies हैं and जो भी data है. and herein disease X and what is the scenario beyond all these things. So globally, एक obsession है with the enigmatic disease X, but it is the familiar एक annual cycles होती है of known agents like influenza, measles, Japanese encephalitis, dengue, diarrhea. तो ये कुछ ऐसे diseases हैं जिनकी again annual cycles होती हैं. So एक इन डिजीज को टैकल करने के लिए हमारे पास प्रॉपर प्लान ऑफ एक्शन होना इंपॉर्टेंट है. Climate change, it is not just limited to any infectious diseases only. It also exacerbates injuries and deaths from the extreme weather events. So एक ये दूसरा एरिया हो जाता है कि एक्सट्रीम वेदर इवेंट्स की वजह से अगर आप बात करो हिली एरियाज में लैंडस्लाइड्स की वजह से, फ्लैश फ्लड्स की वजह से और बाकी रीजंस की वजह से भी डेथ्स का जो नंबर है दैट इज इंक्रीजिंग. एंड इसके अलावा अगेन रेस्पिरेटरी कार्डियोवैस्कुलर डिजीजेस, देयर नंबर इज गोइंग अप. मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज, their number is increasing. So re-emergence of the Nipah virus Kerala mein, again, that is also a wake-up call. So these are all the areas specifically जब हम healthcare sector की बात करते हैं and climate change की बात करते हैं. So Russia Ukraine war continues. So Ukraine का जो counter offensive है, is it working or not? So यहाँ पे discuss किया गया. हमारे लिए again map work बहुत important हो जाता है. So what are the rivers that flow through Ukraine? That's important. And again यहाँ पे जो water bodies हैं, Black Sea, Sea of Azov, different straits जो located है like Bosphorus Strait and all of that. तो आप इन सब के बारे में find out कर सकते हैं. And again, in line space this year, we also had a question in prelims also, कि what are the different countries bordering Ukraine. So likewise, इस तरीके से भी सोचना important हो जाता है. And जब हम बात करते हैं कि possible solutions क्या हो सकते हैं to bring this war to an end, so that is important for us to think. But again, अभी ऐसा कुछ हमें नहीं देखने को मिल रहा है. The war still continues. Western world in a way हम बोल सकते हैं कि एक तरीके से proxy war भी चल रहा है क्योंकि Western world is supporting Ukraine in terms of providing arms and ammunitions. So that's why it becomes proxy war, and Russia still continues its attacks. And apart from this, is topic से related impacts क्या देखने को मिले? So this has already been discussed, taken up a number of times in the videos before. So Indo-Pacific region जो है, it is a web of interdependencies. So army chiefs of India and USA, they made veiled remarks about China's land reclamation South China Sea में, and said कि जितने भी challenges हैं, they are manifesting as threats, stressing कि cooperation बहुत critical हो जाता है of the collective response to the emerging threats, particularly in the Indo-Pacific region. So we know about all these areas, these are often repeated. जब हम बात करते हैं, कल ही हमने बात करी थी again कि हम बात करते हैं कि we want to establish a rule based global order, but of late we are seeing कि global order की जगह where things कि global disorder create हो रहा है because of different challenges. So security challenges भी associated हैं with this. Construction of artificial islands by China, that is another area. Concerns related to again the claims of different countries related to exclusive economic zones जहाँ पे again 9-9 की आप बात कर सकते हो, and again वहाँ पे भी China का role बहुत important हो जाता है. And apart from this, we are seeing कि growing closeness of Russia and China, and साथ के साथ we are also seeing कि North Korea also wants to join both these countries. So इन तीनों countries की strengthened relationship की वजह से भी एक न्यू हमारे लिए कंसर्न और चैलेंज इमर्ज होता हुआ दिखाई दे रहा है. एंड ताइवान स्ट्रेट में जो challenges हैं, they are also seeing कि tensions even there are also increasing. So a possibility of another war over there exists, but उसको हम कैसे avoid कर सकते हैं, that is also important for us to think. So days जब बात करते हैं, पहले की बात करें तो few or handful countries, they used to set the agenda. So days when few nations used to set the agenda, they are over. This is what has been said by our Union External Affairs Minister at the UNGA. So fair, equitable, democratic order will surely emerge once we all put our minds to it. That means ensuring कि rules makers, they do not subjugate the rule takers. So that's how we can say कि इस तरीके से we can say कि how things are getting realigned compared to how they were few years back. So he speaks of the G20 presidency as catering for divergences and calls for reform of UN and other multilateral institutions. ये कुछ global important agendas हैं. इसके अलावा rising global debt, that also we took up in detail. Rising global debt क्या वो हमारे लिए concern है नहीं है. So that is also another area, specifically developing countries की अगर हम बात करें क्या ट्रेंड है, ऑल ऑफ दैट वाज टेकन अप कि राइजिंग ग्लोबल डेट अभी जो हमें देखने को मिल रहा है, दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द डेवलप्ड वर्ल्ड बोरोइंग मोर. So all these things, they are interconnected in a proper manner, so we need to again think likewise, and these are some of the global issues. So Indians, they eat more salt than WHO recommendations. So ये एक particular topic है when we are seeing कि specifically यहाँ पे भी rise in the non-communicable diseases. उसके पीछे जो main reason है, that is how our lifestyle is changing. So उसमें भी our eating habits. So specifically जब आप बात करते हो rise in the cases of hypertension and BP. So the main reason we can say कि one of the reasons is increased salt intake of Indians. So यहाँ पे अगेन वी नीड टू, जो बेसिक चीजें हैं, नीड टू चेंज आवर लाइफस्टाइल इनटू अ हेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल. हमारी ईटिंग हैबिट्स अकॉर्डिंगली चेंज की जानी चाहिए. वी नीड टू अगेन डेली एवरी डे वी नीड टू इंश्योर कि हम फिजिकल एक्टिविटीज कर रहे हैं, एक्सरसाइजेस कर रहे हैं. वो किसी भी फॉर्म में हो सकती है. इफ यू लाइक एनी स्पोर्ट्स और यू लाइक डूइंग कार्डियो एंड एनी टाइप ऑफ एक्सरसाइज, सो दैट्स इम्पोर्टेंट. एंड योर स्लीपिंग पैटर्न इज ऑल्सो, इट प्लेज एन इम्पोर्टेंट रोल. So IPS officer Rupa will have to face the trial for defaming an IAS officer. So herein we can understand this is a form of a case study which can help us in ethics paper. So the senior IPS officer D Rupa will have to face the trial in criminal case for allegedly defaming the IAS officer Rohini Sinduri, as the High Court of Karnataka has said that there is a prima facie material to proceed against Ms. Rupa for making various allegations made through post on her private social media account on the professional and private life of the IAS officer Miss Sindhuri. So हमने देखा था काफी टाइम पहले ये केस आया था. सोशल मीडिया पे अगेन एक्विजिशंस लगाए गए एक दूसरे के ऊपर, एंड अगेन दैट इज नॉट हाउ things need to be taken forward जब हम specifically obviously बात कर रहे हैं senior level officers की. So the statements posted in the private Facebook accounts as well as your statements they were made before the print media, they are examined. So I am more than satisfied कि जो petitioner accused के bound to face a criminal trial. So again, the matter becomes now sub judice. So section 197 of the CRPC was necessary prior to taking cognizance of the offense against Ms. Rupa, as a post made on Facebook and statements they're given to print media prima facie not being part of her official duty. So when we talk about creating more inclusive and progressive society, so National Human Rights Commission seeks action taken report on welfare of trans persons from government. So advisory sent to the center and states recommends provision of separate toilets and more safety for the transgenders. And apart from this, जो बाकी issues हैं वहाँ पे बात कर सकते हैं. The debate over legalization the same sex marriage, that continues. And उसकी वजह से socially अगर हम बात करें, जो current laws भी हमारे पास, how they would be again impacted because of this step if this is finally taken up. And then section 377 of IPC, that was decriminalized by Supreme Court. So that was again a major, we can say major achievement for the community, and again right direction for creation of inclusive society. Uske alawa, when we talk about education sector mein, employment sector mein, and definitely behavioral change, so all these areas are connected. And यहाँ पे again क्या changes हमें देखने को मिल रहे हैं, that is also important. So definitely changes देखने को मिल रहे हैं but at a slower pace. So these are some of the things that are visible. So बिजनेस पेज पे फर्स्टली एंजल टैक्स से रिलेटेड न्यूज है, तो सबसे पहले यहाँ पे मीनिंग क्या है एंजल टैक्स का वो क्लियर होना इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो एंजल टैक्स इम्पोज किया जाता है, सपोज कोई स्टार्टअप है एंड दे आर रेजिंग द फंड अबव द फेयर वैल्यू ऑफ द पर्टिकुलर शेयर। तो जितना अमाउंट रेज किया जाएगा बियॉन्ड द फेयर वैल्यू ऑफ अ पर्टिकुलर शेयर, उसके ऊपर एंजल टैक्स इम्पोज किया जाता है। तो यहाँ पे जो रूल्स हैं रिलेटेड टू एंजल टैक्स वो थोड़े वी कैन से कि ईज कर दिए गए हैं बाय द सेंटर। सो गवर्नमेंट हैज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड 5 डिफरेंट वैल्यूएशन मेथड्स फॉर द शेयर्स। कैसे आप असेस कर सकते हो वैल्यूएशन, कैसे किस अगेन आप कैसे एक पर्टिकुलर वैल्यू पर रीच करते हो। तो 5 डिफरेंट मेथड्स हैव बीन are available, and 10% tolerance for the deviations from the accepted share value. This is again a new thing. So the new rules, however, they do not apply to resident investors. So easy rules are going to help again giving boost to the startup industry. So new rules notified the center, they provide more flexibility to the merchant bankers for the valuation of a company. New policy, it will also address the practical difficulties which are faced by the investors and firms due to lack of clarity on the rules. So यहाँ पे again with new rules we'll be also getting much more clarity. Okay, now we can come to Financial Express newspaper. So again, this is just what we discussed right now. Relief under the angel tax valuation, preference shares valuation to be based on equities, fair value. So fair value क्या होती है again यहाँ पे you can go and read the new rules that has been announced. एक्सपोर्ट प्रमोशन स्कीम जो है अगेन हाउ दिस कैन हेल्प राइट नाउ जब हमें अगेन एक्सपोर्ट्स में स्लो डाउन देखने को मिल रहा है, दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ स्लो डाउन इन द ग्लोबल डिमांड। तो जो हमारी करंट स्कीम्स हैं आर वी रियली वी कैन वेदर वी कैन सी कि जो करंट स्कीम्स है क्या वो हमें हेल्प कर रही है इन टर्म्स ऑफ बूस्टिंग एक्सपोर्ट्स और नॉट। दिस इज वन पार्ट हाउ वी कैन अगेन इंश्योर increase in exports. So panel set up to review incentive rates. जो ये particular scheme है, this was introduced in 2021 and it has now been extended up till 30th June 2024. And apart from this, it has supported $450 billion worth of exports at a cost of rupees 13,000 crores. एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस जो इंसेंटिव दिया जाता है अंडर दिस स्कीम, सो वो कहीं ना कहीं एक तरीके से हेल्प करता है इन टर्म्स ऑफ बूस्टिंग द एक्सपोर्ट. सो हेयर इन दिस remission of duties and taxes on the export products. So this is one method again how we can boost the exports. इसके अलावा we can look for newer opportunities. कौन सी newer markets है where possible demand can increase, the potential of demand exists जहाँ पे जिसके through we can again push our exports. And कौन से ऐसे areas हैं exports में भी we need to identify that. And जब हम बात करते हैं services exports की, तो that is again one major area जहाँ से हमें again एक्सपोर्ट्स देखने को सबसे ज्यादा मिलते हैं इंडिया के केस में. सो साउथ ईस्ट एशियन मार्केट्स अगेन पोटेंशियल मार्केट्स है जहाँ पे अगेन वी कैन एक्सप्लोर मोर डिमांड. एंड अगेन वेस्ट एशिया में भी वी कैन इंक्रीज दिस थिंग्स वेयर अगेन साउथ अगेन अफ्रीकन कॉन्टिनेंट के भी जब हम बात करें तो देयर इन ऑल्सो वी कैन गो अहेड विद बूस्टिंग ऑफ आवर एक्सपोर्ट्स. एंड इसके अलावा वी आर ऑल्सो सीइंग इंक्रीज्ड discussions around signing of the bilateral free trade agreements. So free trade agreements जो पहले इंडिया ने साइन करे, जब आप बात करो विद जापान और आसियान के साथ बात करो, तो वो उन्होंने हमें कितने हद तक हेल्प किया है इन टर्म्स ऑफ बूस्टिंग एक्सपोर्ट, एंड अगर नहीं किया तो प्रॉब्लम एरियाज क्या है. एंड जो अभी हम करंटली एफटीए साइन कर रहे हैं उनको हम किस तरीके से वी कैन से कि चेंज्ड मैनर में क्या मतलब जो बेसिकली पहले हमें चीजें हेल्प नहीं करी, आर वी टेकिंग दैट इनटू अकाउंट एंड गोइंग अहेड विद द करंट डिस्कशंस अराउंड द एफटीएज और नॉट. So again, agricultural exports, they are also seeing slowdown because of sluggish global demand. So Western world में and Europe में we are seeing demand is falling because वहाँ पे economy is slowing down. So that's why it becomes important for us to look for other alternative sustainable markets with more potential demand. So IT industry is seeing a mild recession on reduced uncertainty. So that is why it is mild in its form, because जो uncertainties हैं, they are reducing. So India, it is not much dissimilar to what the rest of the world is, and it is one of our top countries in Asia. So herein we are having again interview of CEO, and he says that again, definitely India बहुत important market है. तो Asia contributes about 15 to 18% of the total revenue for this particular country. तो Asia में India becomes one of the major important countries for this net app. So this is one point of view. We are seeing that IT industry में थोड़ा सा slowdown हमें देखने को मिल रहा है. So again, we need to be prepared for this कि जब हम बात करते हैं इंडिया के services exports की, तो वहाँ पे भी कुछ टाइम के बाद again after a certain time gap we can see कि even that would be not performing up to the mark जो अभी हमें benefit देखने को मिल रहा है. So accordingly we need to think in a diversified manner. Coming to Indian Express newspaper, so see Nagorno-Karabakh region, Armenia, Azerbaijan, locate this thing on map, that is important. So the law panel, it readies the report on simultaneous polls and likely timelines for 2024 to 29. So we'll critically analyze this thing once we have this public. So commission suggestion among those to be sought by the COVID-led committee also. So जो debate है around the simultaneous elections, क्या again हमें changes करने पड़ेंगे, and few days back we also discussed in one of the editorials कि अगर हमें simultaneous elections को implement करना है, so that would be best suited for a presidential form of government. But India में again we have the parliamentary form of government. तो is it suitable कि हमें पहले presidential form of government पे shift करना पड़ेगा, and उसके क्या positive negatives हैं, जो positives presidential में वो parliamentary में नहीं है, but again जो parliamentary के positives हैं वो presidential में नहीं है, and वो again कैसे कितने हद तक वो भी suitable है to the Indian conditions. So that needs to be looked into. And उसके बाद again जब हम बात करते हैं simultaneous elections की, तो in a way it is also being believed कि it would lead to more centralization of powers, because simultaneous elections की वजह से जो local level के issues हैं, they would not get much attention and importance. So this would be one thing, and in a way इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करना एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है. कॉस्ट की अगर आप बात करो, लॉजिस्टिकल कॉस्ट इज आल्सो एसोसिएटेड विद इट. एंड जब आप बात करते हो कुछ बेनिफिट्स की, तो वन टाइम अगेन एवरी 5 years में जो इलेक्शंस होंगे, सो we'll be having extra amount of time to look into again developmental issues, we can focus there. क्योंकि अभी जो हम बात करते हैं, तो ऐसा हमेशा रहता है कि किसी ना किसी पर्टिकुलर स्टेट में इलेक्शंस हो, या स्टेट असेंबली इलेक्शंस हो, या बाई इलेक्शंस हो, वो हमेशा इट इज एन अनएंडिंग एक्सरसाइज चलती रहती है. सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द एरियाज, एंड you can think about more कि और क्या हो सकता है. And once we have this, the recommendations of this law commission public, will be discussing that as well. So बाकी जो topics है, this we've already discussed. So जब हम बात करते हैं सिक्योरिटी, स्पेसिफिकली बॉर्डर सिक्योरिटी, तो वी आर सीइंग स्टेट ऑफ पंजाब में ड्रोन्स के थ्रू इवन ड्रग्स आर बीइंग ट्रेडेड, वेपन्स भी ड्रॉप किए जाते हैं. तो एंटी ड्रोन सिस्टम वुड बी सून देयर. at the international border. So this has been announced by the Union Home Minister. So again, how this anti-drone system it would be working, that would be becoming important for us to understand. Once it is, again, it becomes workable and it is implemented, we'll go into this as well. So 63% जो cancer deaths हमें Indian women में देखने को मिली, they were preventable. 63% of them were preventable, but we couldn't, because we are seeing gender gap in healthcare infrastructure in India. And with similar cancer burden in both men and women, the Lancet report calls for more sex and gender inclusive policies and guidelines. यहाँ पे again we lack awareness. Report raises a red flag about the long-standing discriminatory practices that undermine the women's interaction with the health system, leading to poorer outcomes for them. And also emphasize किया गया कि women, they are less likely to be in a position of power and they may be unable to determine their own care. So additionally, ये भी stress किया गया कि जो patriarchy है, that dominates the cancer care as well. Research, policy making, even यहाँ पे भी हमें dominance of patriarchy देखने को मिल रहा है. So it's like highly unsatisfying thing कि even particular इतना ज़्यादा particular area में भी we are seeing dominance by the male. And apart from this, यहाँ पे जब हम बात करते हैं कि even awareness and education about getting vaccination the right time, HPV vaccines जो हैं, which are again helps in preventing the cervical cancers. So that is also lacking. We are not even aware about कि कौन सी right age होती है to get those vaccines. So even we need to work upon that front also. So यहाँ पे you can see this has been mentioned. And the infection continues to be the biggest risk factor for cancer in Indian women and contributes 23% of the deaths. So again, जो virus होता है, जो infectious virus है, HPV virus is associated with the cervical cancers, hepatitis B and C infections that increase the risk of liver cancer. So again, tobacco, it is also second important risk factor, contributing to 6% of the cancer deaths in India. So substantial imitation and passing off. Questions in the case before the High Court. So this is about, again, copyright infringement कैसे हो जाता है. Now आप कैसे determine करोगे कि substantial imitation कैसे हुआ, मतलब इसके basis क्या है deciding, कैसे आप decide करोगे कि अब substantial imitation किया गया या नहीं किया गया. So what did the Humans of the Bombay argue before the High Court? So in its plea, Humans of Bombay उन्होंने बोला कि it owns and operates a storytelling platform जहाँ पे different individuals की stories upload की जाती है in the form of interviews, write-ups and the post. Plea में ये बोला गया कि whose Instagram accounts had around 1.5 million followers, they had replicated several images and videos from the platforms, and again लोगों ने उसको अपने personal platform पे post किया. So Humans of Bombay ने, again, they sort of direction to the people of India to take down all of their work and used either directly or indirectly, जिस भी तरीके से उसको use किया गया है. So this is a plea. So how substantial limitation या ये कैसे copyright infringement हो सकते हैं? तो copyright जो है, that is the right given by the law to creators of literary, dramatics, musical, artistic works and producers of cinematograph, films and sound recordings. So you have that copyright rights that you enjoy with the work associated in different areas. So Copyright Act जो है 1957 की, the aim is to safeguard the creative works which are considered the creator's intellectual property. So यहाँ पे again the High Court, it found substantial limitation between two platforms. However, the substantial word है, it varies from case to case basis. Again, अब कैसे identify करते हो कि substantial limitation has been done. For example, lyricist copies the catchiest phrase from another song, so it will be considered infringement even if the phrase is short also. So कुछ examples हैं. And what is copyright infringement? Again, अगर कोई आपका work use कर लेता है without the permission and without giving you due credit, so that leads to infringement. सो पासिंग ऑफ क्या होता है? सो सपोज एक ब्रांड लोगो है विच इज मिसस्पेल्ड इन अ वे कि दैट्स नॉट इजी फॉर द कंज्यूमर टू डिसर्न, एंड अगेन इतना वी डोंट पे अटेंशन जब हम ऐसा कोई ब्रांड लोगो देखते हैं, या वो एक माइनर से चेंज कर देते हैं इन स्पेलिंग व्हिच वी आर नॉट एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई, सो दैट इज कॉल्ड पासिंग ऑफ. So that's how even this is also, it violates your copyright act. सो गोवा में बात करें तो न्यू बीच शैक पॉलिसी जो है, व्हाई ओनर्स दे आर ऑपोजिंग दिस न्यू शैक पॉलिसी. सो गोवा गवर्नमेंट रिसेंटली दे हैव अप्रूव्ड द गोवा स्टेट शैक पॉलिसी. जब अगेन हम बात करते हैं क्लीनलीनेस एंड मेंटेनिंग हाइजीन एट दी गोवा बीचेस, so definitely the aim of this policy is that, and जो temporary structures हैं, beach shacks हैं, deck beds, umbrellas, वो सब लगाई जाती है by different restaurants and hotels which are opened along the coast. So shack policy allow करता है unemployed persons of Goa domicile to operate the temporary shacks. So different provisions हैं, and again this is important for when talk about sustainable development and safeguarding the environment. Political issue of delimitation. So delimitation of constituencies on which the fate of the women's quota depends. It's an old, highly sensitive issue. Why there's a fear that South it may suffer because of this, and what political gains does the government hope to make from this? So यहाँ पे बात करें reservation in a larger pie. तो recently we saw कि 33% reservation to women in the parliament. This is this bill becomes a law once it gets the president's assent, but it's being passed by the parliament. जो delimitation है, so बोला ये जा रहा है कि जो again 33% का जो quota है, this would be again हम इसको तभी implement कर पाएंगे once we complete the delimitation exercise which is due after 2026, and वो तभी हो पाएगी जब हम census कर पाएंगे. तो basically बहुत ज़्यादा delay देखने को मिलेगा, and expectations ये हैं कि by 2029 ही हम इस quota को implement कर पाएंगे. So if as a result of the delimitation exercise, the strength of Lok Sabha that suppose increases to 770 as per some calculations. So यहाँ hypothetical examples लेके assume करके चीजें assume की गई हैं, and सोचा जा रहा है कि ये भी possibility हो सकती है. So again यहाँ पे थोड़ी बहुत political interest भी involved हैं. North Indian states के लिए क्या benefits हो सकते हैं? जो main rational है delimitation का, that is to ensure कि population changes के according ही seats ensure की जाए कि particular constituency में कितनी seats होंगी. So that is important क्योंकि जो population changes हो रहे हैं, it needs to be done in a proper proportionate manner. So main rational जो है delimitation का, that is to ensure कि every state has equitable representation लोक सभा में on the basis of the population. With the same logic again going down with the states for the assemblies as well. So idea is to ensure that every MP as far as possible represents same number of people. And 1977 Lok Sabha mein, for example, every MP in India represented about 10 lakh people on an average. And there is no restriction key on what this number should be. ऐसा कोई इस पर restriction नहीं है. And this solely depends upon the changes in the population. Apart from this, with rising population, obviously, जो अब every MP would be representing higher number of people. That's clearly understood. Whatever the calculation be, number of Lok Sabha seats in states like UP, BR, they're likely to jump up because जो North Indian states है वहाँ पे population ज़्यादा है. So इस तरीके से it is going to benefit more. It will be a higher benefit to the North Indian states compared to the South Indian states. And कुछ as I said की political advantages भी associated हैं. So poor monsoon की वजह से we are again seeing कर्नाटका और तमिलनाडु के बीच में जो कावेरी वाटर डिस्प्यूट है, it flares up again. कल हमने बात करी थी कि एक प्रॉपर फॉर्मूला, वी नीड प्रॉपर वाटर शेयरिंग फॉर्मूला अचीव किया जाना चाहिए व्हेन वी हैव द कावेरी वाटर रेगुलेशन कमेटी, वाटर मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी बनाए गए हैं, सो दैट अगेन ये इशू बार बार क्रॉप अप ना हो. क्योंकि अगेन वाटर डिमांड है, कर्नाटका अपर अपेरेंट स्टेट है, तो पहले वो इंश्योर करते कि डोमेस्टिकली अपनी स्टेट की डिमांड को फुलफिल करने के लिए उनके पास इतनी कैपेसिटी ऑफ वाटर है कि नहीं, देन ओनली दे रिलीज दैट अमाउंट टू तमिलनाडु. एंड जितना भी अमाउंट रिलीज भी किया जाता है वाटर का, तमिलनाडु सेज की अगेन दे रिक्वायर सर्टन मोर अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर. तो अगेन ये इश्यूज चलते रहते हैं. सो वी नीड टू लुक इन फॉर अ लॉन्ग टर्म सोल्यूशन टू सच इशू. सो इसका अगेन लॉन्ग टर्म सोल्यूशन एक ये कि वी नीड टू हैव प्रॉपर फॉर्मूला फॉर दैट. So GST Council firstly, we need to think about कि GST reforms क्या हो सकते हैं. When we talk about the rationalization of different tax slabs which are there, that is one thing. And इसके अलावा GST Council meetings में भी जो हमें delays देखने को मिल रहे थे, that shouldn't happen. और जब बात करते हैं GST Council agenda setting की, तो वहाँ पे भी center का role ज़्यादा रहता है. तो again states का उसमें कोई say नहीं रहता है. So this thing needs to be changed. Apart from this, the GST Council, it may take up the matter of reducing the GST rate on millet-based mixes to 5%, because again, we are celebrating the International UN Year of Millets, and तो वहाँ पे again to promote more millet consumption and production. So GST rate इस पे expect कर सकते हैं हम कि reduce किया जाएगा, so that millet consumption को हम promote कर सके. और जब हम millets के benefits की बात करते हैं, तो therein we can talk about कि millets climate resilient crop है, तो वो farmers की income को increase करने में भी help कर सकते हैं. जो हमारा over dependence है और या over reliance है on the water intensive crops, क्योंकि वहाँ पे MSP ज़्यादा मिलती है, तो वो हम इसको reduce कर सकते हैं through cultivation of millets. And again, जब हम nutritional value की बात करते हैं, तो dealing with nutritional security, that is also one of the major areas जहाँ पे हमें millets help कर सकते हैं. तो that would be again one of the steps which can promote more women-led development also, because अगर health ठीक होगी तो definitely they can contribute in the economic growth as well. So these are certain benefits which are associated with millets. And millets के बारे में again जो basic चीजें हैं, इंडिया में कहाँ कहाँ पे millets grow किए जाते हैं, कौन से state में maximum share है, ये हमें पता होना important है. And millets पे do we get MSP or not, that is also another area. So these are some of the areas, and that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining us. And Pravesh, do you want to say something or raise any question? All right, so let's end it here, and do subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us, and do share your feedback in the comment section.